And everybody says when you get these inner city kids down, they'll lay over and you'll beat them by 40. Not us. Everybody will say they're 0-1. They're going to fold up camp. They'll be 2-8 by the end of this thing. No! Not us. You walk with your chins up. I am proud to be a Manassas Tiger on this field night because my guys did lay down. They got heart. Now let's put our mind with our heart and our bodies, and let's finish this thing this year.
That right there is from the movie Undefeated. It won an Academy Award, an Oscar, won the Oscar, and it was directed by Dan Lindsay from Rockford, Illinois. A great guy. He's done a wonderful job. And the May 23rd and May 24th will be showing Undefeated at Rockford College to help Rockford Public Schools. What a great way to use that movie to help gain funds for that program.
That's right.
And guess what? Right now with us we have Coach Bill Courtney, who you just heard give that speech. And first of all, Coach, thanks so much for being on today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that that would win an Oscar and that you would be talking to everybody in America about this movie? Just amazing, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I really had planned on that 6 years ago when I started it. No, of course not. My God, Nevin, no. I mean, it's crazy. It's been surreal. It's been an honor. It's been humbling. It's been exciting. All of the things, you know, I'm a regular guy, and all of the things any regular guy might think they would feel and experience if this whirlwind all of a sudden surrounded them, that's what I'm feeling.
You know, you're a normal guy. You're a busy guy. You know, you own this lumber company. You got a family and everything like that. You know, what drew you to this school originally that just made you say, you know what, I got to get in there and help these kids out?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's not at all how it was. And you know, people need to understand. I taught school and I coached football for a living when I first graduated college, and I started a business off my couch in 2001, and bought a kind of a crappy old piece of dilapidated property in North Memphis. Started trying to operate a business, and about a year and a half later, some folks that knew some of my football background said, you know, hey, would you like to coach over here at Manassas? This is in 2003 now, and, you know, here's 17 kids, and they've won one game in 3 years, and there's only 17 kids on the team, and they need help. And so I didn't go over there to help anybody out. I went over there, I had no agenda. I just went over there to coach football. And then over the course of the 6 years of building the program and learning more and more about New Chicago and Smoky City and Greenlaw, which are the areas that the kids come from that go to Manassas, and the struggles and the abject poverty. And I mean, the median annual household income from those three areas annual is $7,337.
Wow.
And you start learning about the struggles that these kids come from, and so then you start figuring out, well, hell, this really isn't about X's and O's. This is about these kids, and if we can build some character and discipline and commitment and show a little compassion and a little tough love and love these kids in spite of and do that, then, you know, maybe the football will come. And so over the course of 6 years, it just kind of evolved, but nobody went there to help anybody. It was just to coach football at first.
We're talking with Coach Bill Courtney, who was in the movie Undefeated. It'll be showed at the Rockford College on May 23rd and May 24th. You know, I've read a couple of things about you. You're all over the Internet. You're easy to find stories about. You think it's way more than about the football story. It's not just a football story. It's about a story that features football, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think football is the backdrop. I really don't think it's about football at all. I think it's about human relationships. I think it's really an exploration of what happens when people can put stupid things like race and preconceived notions and misunderstandings about socioeconomics and where one comes from, and put all that garbage aside and just come together to work together for a common cause. And the common cause in this regard was helping some kids become young men and helping a group of guys become a football team. And that's And I didn't look at those kids as my black players. They looked at me as their white coach. It's just a coach and a football team who overcame a lot of odds to try to get better.
You know, a couple of things stood out for me as I'm, watching some clips and doing some research on this. You know, you have the Uncommon Man Award and the description you kind of give for what that is. And the quote I really liked is when you said, football doesn't build character, it reveals character. You know, and a lot of those kind of things, kind of fly in the face of what most, not all football coaches, but what most football coaches believe. Has that always been your philosophy as you coach?
Yeah, I've been coaching off and on for about 22 years, and I just think this. I think if you guys put a football in your studio over there, and one of you went and tried to stand on it while the other finished talking to me this morning, the one standing on the football would pretty much, I'd give him 20 seconds before he fell on his butt and probably knocked over some microphones. It's because you can't stand on a football, right?
Right.
Accordingly, if I stacked up $100 bills right on top of each other and got 250,000 of them stacked up over there, and you had a couple $1 million and told you to stand on it, they'd slide right out from under you. And if we put a trophy over there and you tried to stand on it, you'd crush it and you'd fall down. And the point is, you cannot stand on accolades and money in football. You cannot stand on trophies and money in football. You cannot build the foundation of who you are on that crap. You've got to build your foundation on character, commitment, discipline, honor, the basic tenets and fundamentals that your grandmama wanted to teach you. And then once you build that foundation, you plant your feet squarely on top of it, then you can hold all the money in football and accolades that can be heaped on you, just no problem. So the point is, you can't build who you are. You can't build your character on stuff like that. That's just trivial stuff, a game and riches and all that. It's got to come somewhere much, much, much deeper. And then once you build yourself and build your character properly on a proper foundation, then what you've built will be revealed when you're faced with trials and tribulations. And what will be revealed is someone who can handle things because they built themselves fundamentally right.
We're talking with Coach Bill Courtney, who was featured in the movie Undefeated. Undefeated has a lot of Rockford, Illinois roots, and we're from Rockford, of course. Dan Lindsay was one of the directors, and also Dan McMahon and Miles Nielsen did the score for the movie. So you really got a connection with us here in Rockford, Coach, and I know that you said Dan Lindsay is now your friend. He's just not a director to you.
No, I mean, Dan and his cohort TJ and then the producer Rich Middlemas, TJ's from Seattle and Rich is from parts unknown, but they those three guys, you got to understand, those three guys, after they left Rockford and Seattle, where they're from, they went to L.A. and they show up to Memphis. And I mean, Memphis, we're pretty, we're a southern town. And these three guys, these three 20 to 30-year-old guys show up wearing, straight-legged jeans and kind of L.A. haircuts and stuff. And they're not big guys, and they're hanging around a bunch of big guys on a football team and a big coach. And I'm starting to think, who are these silly little things? And I'll tell you, over the course of 9 months and then a year of editing, they have become some of my dearest friends, and they are my wife's dear friends, and they are my children's dear friends. And Dan Lindsay is loved by my family and always will be. He's a genuine article. He's real. And he represented us honestly, for better or worse, which was all I was ever concerned about. And I do. I consider him a very, very, very good friend. And I believe because of that realness and because of that decency, I believe he'll be very successful in an industry that's tough to be successful in, that's filled with a bunch of people who I don't find very real at all.
The school district here is going to be showing the movie, and we face a lot of the same struggles that with some of our schools here that are kind of portrayed in the movie there, just some down economic areas, kids from tough areas. What ultimately, as this movie makes its rounds, do you hope it accomplishes for people like that in those situations that might be able to see it?
Put preconceived notions aside. Remember that Ronald Reagan said, it will be amazing what we can accomplish if nobody cares who gets the credit.
Right.
And remember that these are 14, 15, and 16 and 17-year-old boys who are searching for what it means to be a young man. And their personal internal definition of what that is and the way that they're going to walk that walk depends largely on the adults that surround them that they witness. And it is incumbent upon those adults to illustrate properly what that is. And when you do that, you start to develop a generation of folks that can handle themselves. But when you don't do that, you're creating a problem for the rest of society. And it's so much more than just an oblong leather thing laced up with some air in it. It's just so much more than that.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for being on today. We encourage people to go out and see the movie Undefeated, and we really enjoyed just what we've been doing on the research. And thanks for taking the time. I know it's early Saturday morning, and continued good luck. And an Oscar, you can't beat it. Thanks again.
Thank you very much for having me. And again, all the interest is really overwhelming, and just appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Coach Bill Courtney, who is the coach featured in Undefeated. I'm going to have to go watch it now.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've done some research. It is really a good movie.
Yeah, every clip I've seen's been great. It looks like it's phenomenal.
Yeah, May 23rd and May 24th. You can get tickets through Rockford Public Schools. Matt Parker and his crew has done a good job on that. And we know that I enjoyed the interview.
Yes, certainly.
So if I enjoyed it, I hope everybody else did enjoy it. It was just a good interview with Bill Courtney, the coach of Undefeated.